Hello, everyone. Today we're sharing the next chapter in the story of our featured character, the resilient father. This is his own account, a tale of navigating one of the darkest moments of his life from the joys of family life, through a devastating betrayal to a quiet battle to stay connected with his son. So let's dive into his story, a journey filled with tears, hope, and unwavering perseverance.
2 years ago, I walked into my house with a sandwich in hand, planning to surprise my wife with a warm lunch. I pictured her smiling, us sitting down, laughing like we used to. But when I pushed open the bedroom door, I saw her not alone, but with another man. Our 3-year-old son was napping in the room next door, his steady breathing audible through the thin wall. On the nightstand, I spotted the man's wallet. Inside it were 2 travel tickets the gift ID spent a year saving up for to celebrate our 5th wedding anniversary. A dream trip across 7 countries, something she'd talked about with sparkling eyes. I didn't yell, I didn't break anything. I just quietly walked out, got in my car, and drove. 12 hours later, when I came back, the house was empty. She was gone. The man was gone. And the thing that broke my heart, most my son, was gone. On the kitchen table sat a stack of signed divorce papers, cold and final like a judge's gavel. If you've ever built a family, poured your heart into moments that felt like they'd last forever nights watching cartoons with your kid, playing in the backyard, or silly jokes that made the whole house laugh, you know how it feels when it all falls apart. I thought we were a team. 5 years of marriage, a son who lit up my world, and shared dreams of a lasting future. But in that moment, I realized it was all an illusion. She'd planned to leave me, and that travel gift just sped up her timeline. I tried calling her, but my number was blocked. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. It was a carefully calculated plan, and I'd been cut out of my son's life without even knowing it. 5 years ago, my life felt like a dream. I was married to the woman I loved, and we had a 3-year-old son who made me laugh with his goofy knock-knock jokes. "Who's there? It's me, Daddy." And he'd giggle like it was the funniest thing ever. I remember evenings spent together eating popcorn, watching cartoons, and the times I became Super Dad, a character I made up to cheer him up when he was sad. I'd throw on a homemade cape, tell silly stories, and always get him to laugh. I thought those moments would last forever. Then came our 5th anniversary, and I wanted to do something big. I gave her a dream trip across 7 countries, something she'd always said was her biggest wish. I saved for a whole year to buy those tickets. When she hugged me and smiled, I believed everything was perfect. But a family isn't just about beautiful moments. It's effort, trust, and the days you work to keep things steady. Have any of you ever poured your heart into a relationship, a family, only to realize it wasn't what you thought? I believed we were a team, building a safe home for our son, a place where he could grow up with love and joy. But sometimes the things we trust most are the most fragile. When I found out about the betrayal, I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that my son, the light of my life, was gone. 2 months later, when the divorce was finalized, I finally saw him again. But he wasn't the same boy. The kid who used to run into my arms, eyes shining when he saw me, now stared at the floor, silent. During drop-offs, he kept glancing back at his mom's car, like he was scared to be seen talking to me. I tried everything, bringing his favorite snacks, old games, retelling the knock-knock jokes he loved. Nothing worked. He just sat there, quiet, like an invisible wall had gone up between us. I felt like I was losing him, even though he was right in front of me. Then I found out my ex-wife had started a campaign. On Facebook, she posted vague statuses about protecting kids from narcissistic abusers. Everyone knew she meant me. She went to his school, talked to teachers, counselors, even the nurse, telling them I was unstable, dangerous. One day, when I showed up to pick him up, his teacher blocked the door, saying they'd call the police if I didn't leave. Have you ever felt like your story was erased? Like you're screaming the truth, but no one listens? I wasn't just losing my wife or my family, I was losing my son. Confronted her that day, she smiled, like she'd already won. She whispered in my ear, "Keep pushing, and you'll never see him again." Then she walked away. I realized this wasn't just a divorce. It was a war to erase me from my son's life. She got primary custody, and I was only allowed supervised visits. Those visits were torture. My son wouldn't talk, wouldn't laugh, wouldn't even sit near me. I brought toys, snacks, tried to bring back happy memories, but he just sat there, eyes distant. She pushed further. She posted on social media, hinting I was an abuser. She called the school, telling teachers I was dangerous. One day, I went to pick him up, and a teacher stopped me, threatening to call the cops. I drove home and sat in his empty room until midnight, feeling like the whole world had turned against me. The court finally gave me a chance, one unsupervised visit before the next hearing. They said it was my last shot. I pulled out my old super dad costume, the one I used to wear to cheer him up when he was sad. My son loved superheroes, and super dad always made him laugh. When I walked in wearing it, his eyes lit up, just a flicker. "Super dad," he whispered. I knelt down and asked, "What's going on, buddy? Why won't you talk to me?" And then he broke down crying. He told me his mom made him rehearse stories about me, that I yelled, hit him, hated him. She told him to lie in court. We got ice cream that day. I didn't care about the case anymore. I just wanted him to feel safe with me. I told him superheroes always tell the truth, no matter how scary it is. In court, my son looked terrified. His mom sat behind the defense table, staring him down. He started reciting her lines. "Daddy hits me. Daddy's always mean." But then he stopped, looked at her, then at me. That's what Mommy told me to say, but it's not true. The courtroom erupted. My ex jumped up, screaming. The judge slammed his gavel. My son was rushed out with a child advocate. My lawyer grabbed me, warning that this could backfire if they thought I coached him. Have you ever seen a glimmer of hope, only to realize it might slip away? I thought the truth would save us. I was wrong. This fight wasn't just about the truth, it was about who controlled the narrative. After the hearing, things got worse. My ex kept building the story that I was dangerous. She showed up at my gym, lingering in my line of sight, then told the manager she feared for her safety. She met with teachers, counselors, even the school nurse, building a wall between me and my son. I found notes in the court files about my supposed anger issues notes I didn't recall discussing with my lawyer. I felt like I was being manipulated even by my own team. Neighbors started watching me. A close friend, my best man at our wedding, backed out, saying he didn't want to get involved. On social media, she posted pictures of me with our son, captioned with hints of hidden trauma. Videos of me cheering at his games were edited to look like rage. I realized she'd started this plan months before I caught her cheating. Have you ever felt like the whole world turned its back on you? Like you're fighting a version of yourself someone else created? I tried posting the truth online, but my posts were reported and removed instantly. I was completely isolated. Then came the no contact order. I couldn't even text my son goodnight. I became a stranger in my own life. Every move I made, she was ready to twist it into evidence against me. One day, the private investigator I hired found proof. The man she was with was NT, just a fling. He was an old coworker who'd lost his own custody battle. He'd coached her on how to provoke me, manipulate the courts, and turn everyone against me. But those texts couldn't be used in court. They were obtained illegally. I sent them to a local journalist, hoping the truth would get out. The story never ran. Her family had connections, and I was left in the cold again. At the final hearing, we were both exhausted. The judge ordered mediation, co-parenting classes, and communication through a monitored app. My son looked smaller than his 8 years. The boy who used to glow when he saw me now stared at the floor, like he had to play 2 roles, one for her, one for me. I learned one thing: winning doesn't matter as much as your child's peace. If you're in a family fight, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this worth what my kid has to go through? My fight was never about beating her. It was about holding on to my son. I made mistakes, reacted, let her turn me into a version of myself I didn't recognize. But I also learned that avoiding issues sets the stage for everything to collapse. Now, I live in a small apartment near my son's school. I'm not super dad anymore, but I'm still here. I'm learning to be a better father, even if it's just 2 hours a week. And my son, he still needs me, even if he doesn't say it. If you're going through something like this, I want you to know you're not alone. Share your story. Talk about what you've overcome or what you're still fighting for. We can build a community to support each other. Thank you for listening. Take care of your family, and above all, take care of yourself.